If you mattered to God, really mattered to God, would He allow you to experience the pain that you are experiencing? I think that's a really good question. At the very least, it's a fair question. And if you're going through a hardship, it's perfectly fine for you to ask this. I get asked this question all the time. In fact, I had recently a young man come into my office, a man who had given his life to the Lord to serve as a missionary, and he was plagued with anxiety, severe anxiety. He had seen help. He had even been on medication, and of course, he prayed, in case you're wondering if he just had enough faith or whatever. And his complaint was, why is God letting this happen to me? Why won't He take this away from me? If I really mattered to God, if my life had any significance to Him, why would He let me experience this? That's a fair question. But I remember asking him during this meeting, I asked him a question I never asked anybody else. I simply asked, do you think that a meaningful life equates to a lack of hardship? And this stopped him in his tracks. His first reaction was to say no, because he knows of other people who have had hardship, and he would never look at their life and say, well, God must not love them or their life must not matter. But yet, his own hardship was what he had a hard time overcoming in believing that his life really mattered to God. It's a really hard topic, and if you're going through a hard time, I'll just say, I understand. But there is joy to be had even in the midst of hardship. We can have joy because there is a reason for it. This isn't a godless universe of randomness. This is a universe orchestrated and built by God, and there is a reason even for the hardship we face. First, it's just the fact that there is freedom in this world. God cannot create a world of free creatures that only choose good things. Inevitably, in our freedom, we're going to choose bad things. And a lot of the hardship we experience in this life is simply the result of bad choices of free creatures. But freedom is a good thing. But in this world of freedom, there's going to be brokenness. And we are going to feel its brokenness. But it is not wasted. The Lord can use all things for our good. In the book, we talk a lot about this, and I share about how the last couple of years have been very difficult for me and my family on multiple levels. Terry and I are right to say, and we say frequently, that we hate what we are experiencing, but we like who we are becoming. In the midst of some of the hardest things we have ever faced, we have known God and His strength like we have never known before, and the refinement to our character is a great gift, and there is joy in it. The fact that I have received God's comfort in the midst of my trials allows me to comfort others in theirs, and that also brings me great joy. So I want to challenge you, but I also want to be very understanding to you in the midst of your pain. And I want to ask you, can you trust God in your pain? I know that you may not want to. You may not want to give God any of the credit for any of the good that comes out of what you might say He could have avoided, and that is fair enough. But remember that God knows pain Himself. Jesus Christ experienced pain when He hung on the cross for the redemption of us all. So your pain and your anger, they are not off limits. You can give them to the Lord. He can handle it. Turn to Him, and may you find the joy of being sustained by the Lord in the midst of great trial. And may you find the joy of becoming a great witness when the world looks at your life and sees all that you go through and yet see you clinging to the hope in the Lord Jesus Christ. They will see that there is nothing that can compare to His greatness.